Hi, Aries. Welcome to your reading. So I've laid your cards, and just in case you want to stay around, I'll tell you what we've got going on here. So the interesting thing is it's about an epiphany of your creation and your self-worth, where there's been a bit of fighting. It's about cooperation and frustration and something that's not clear, but it ends in a beautiful resolution. So if you felt at odds around creation, around understanding how to move forward with creation, and if there's a sense of you, anyway, if you felt at odds with those things, and there's a sense of a bit of confusion and irritation on your part at the moment, you might find that this reading is for you because it ends up somewhere nice. I will dive right in. I don't want to do the whole reading in précis. So you as the Three of Cups, we're using the Mystical Moments cards today. I like this. It reminds me of, you know, those Venn diagrams of friendships almost. Like, okay, we three are in this Venn diagram, but one of us might be related to this group of friends, another to that. You know, that sort of thing with those overlapping circles. But these three are very aligned together. There's a sense of a community and you've got aligned values. You're all looking in the same direction. You're all holding the structure together. That's you inside. So I guess it's saying you feeling aligned with other parts of yourself, but also connected to your community. In friendship, that feels very healthy, and inside you feel quite celebratory about it. And how it makes you act on the outside is the sun. And isn't this a beautiful depiction of the sun? This so beautiful, all coming from your consciousness, this bright, heady, those birds flying away from it, the little white ones, heady, floral sense of extreme happiness and manifestation. And I like that she's hiding one eye. I like the mystery of that. That happens in other cards here. And we've got one here, one eye. Seems to be a bit of a theme. So it's slightly coy. It's like sort of hardly able to believe how happy you are, but wanting to sort of get with your community and express some happiness. It's quite giddy, that energy. But it's also sort of about optimism and manifestation. So something is hiding one part of your vision towards your manifestation, but there's a lot of energy backed up to be able to kind of create with, but there's something you need to be able to send off in flight with this swift or swallow that will complete the process for you. And it's hiding part of your vision of manifestation, of positivity. In the basis of the reading, we have the Judgment, an epiphany, an understanding around this creative process, the Empress. Look at that baby growing in her skirts and all of that abundance. So an epiphany around this and around what's stopping you with the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords traditionally would be that one where somebody is, there are two factions fighting and nobody's happy with the end of it. So with whoever wins doesn't feel happy with it. So here we see an epiphany over some sort of fight around creativity, an understanding at the basis of this reading. And that's what we're groping towards, because your full creativity, you need that eye uncovered, I feel, so that you can really let all your birds fly and all your creations start. What can I see here? Yeah, the Empress looks a bit annoyed. She's got this baby that she wants to crown, but she's sort of looking a little bit pensive and annoyed to me here. Like she can't move and she feels sad or concerned. She's sort of stuck, rooted to the point, which the Empress usually is quite rooted, isn't she? Because she's so connected to nature. But here, there is an element of concern on her face. Again, here we have one eye hidden. And this lack of clarity is what's making you want to have the fight. But remember, it's a fight that doesn't end well for anyone. So it might be worth holding off. But you've got at the basis, what we're working towards is as an understanding of what's going on here. Getting this all straight with this clarion call of the Judgment. In the recent past, we see you feeling really overburdened with the Ten of Wands. Look at her back-breaking amount of flowers that she's got on her back and how she's bending to pick another one. You know, working very hard, being slightly obsessive, but also feeling that this, not kind of quite seeing how your way forward to your creations, the Empress feeling a bit concerned about your creations, is leaving you feeling a bit overburdened and slightly obsessed with that. In one potential outcome, we have the Five of Cups, so another five that obviously would relate to that fight and that not lack of clarity. Here, we're turning our back on the offers that are at hand, and we're making our way through this murky water, feeling quite emotional and sodden. And usually we say with the Five of Cups, turn round and look what you still have, because it's that image of her, that person looking at the 3 cups that are spilt, head down, so disappointed. And there are 2 behind, so why don't you look at what you still have that's standing? Here she has 2 flowers still, but the 3 are floating off in this emotional way, and she's sort of looking after one of them rather regretfully. So that is one potential outcome based on what we've got here, with your community, your thwarted ability to create, but all this creative energy and feeling a bit burdened. You might decide to walk off, or you might decide to focus only on what you're not getting right or isn't working for you. Coming up in the near future, we have the Ace of Cups. So a new sense of love around this creative project, everything suddenly being released and free with those butterflies. Now, instead of wading in the water, she's looking at her reflection in the water and understanding what she sees, which allows this outpouring, which is just wonderful. I really love that. In your attitude, we've got the King of Swords turning up as a woman. I like how they do this in this card. So it is the King of Swords, but she's a woman, and the Moon. So you've brought your feminine inspired CEO, King of Swords, all your rigorous intelligence, your understanding, your ability to cut through and see what is really going on. You've brought that kind of energy to the party, and to this group of this community that you want to create from. And it's cutting through the lack of understanding in the Moon, because the Moon is usually murky and very emotional and unclear. Here she's got a thread and a needle, and she's about to stitch things together again, and she looks kind of, oh, I know how to do this. That's how I was seeing her face. It's fine, I've got this. I can stitch this all back together, whatever hasn't been working. And the Moon, instead of a crayfish, we've got an octopus coming out. It's sort of a creature of great intelligence, and each one of these tentacles has a different feeling sense coming. You know how they say about octopuses that each tentacle has a different personality, potentially. One might be very explorative, the other shy. They've got a little bit of a brain in each one and a different way of sort of behaving. I don't know if that's the correct way of describing it, but I know that's how they operate. So all those different sides of the situation coming to grab her from behind, potentially. Or maybe she's understanding the situation. No, look, it is winding around her. She's focused on the Moon, and with her baying wolf, I think, or fox here, rather than the tamed dog. But it's okay, because you're stitching some meaning back in. You're understanding the threads of the situation. They slightly remind me of those. You know, the Venn diagrams are starting to make sense. Here, your whole community is in one and doesn't really come... These 2 are empty of people. Here, you feel like she would be threading you all together somehow, with light, with understanding. And bringing light and understanding to this situation. It's quite serpentine, like the octopus's tendrils. But so you're bringing understanding. Your attitude is to make something that you understand from this mess. In your environment, the 2 of Swords, you've still got a decision to make. You're holding these 2 swords, do you remember? And they're getting heavy, and your eyes are covered, like just like this character, and you're trying to use your intuition. You're trying to get into the crescent moon with the high priestesses at the high priestess's feet. This one is still in the sky. You've not quite made your decision. The environment is still up in the air somehow. Something hasn't been decided, but it's on its way. And you will make a decision. And your higher self is now in conversation with itself, about to decide, and with the other people in this group. Because I do think there is a sense of cooperation with the Three of Cups to decide how to move forward. With the Death card in your hopes and fears, you want a rebirth, basically. You want an end to the situation as it is, and the bones of the situation to be laid bare so that we can really see what we're doing and get a handle on it, and then for a new life to come from it. And she's very beautiful, looking at that beautiful butterfly, which of course reminds us of what's coming up in the near future with all those butterflies, the new love. So you want the new love to settle and bear fruit, or sort of pollinate this fruit, or work with the flowers, rather, of the situation to become your kind of Empress's creation. That's your hopes and fears. And the outcome... Lovely. Three of Pentacles, working well with other people in the situation, which is just what we need to see. And the Fool, the new start. So this is just gorgeous. With the Fool, now that kind of serpentine thing that was threatening to pull her under in the octopuses in the moon has now become a root of a new shoot. And it's growing up, and it's providing a beautiful new flower. Something quite big. I love that it's an alligator's tail. I love it, but it's also it's a flowering. So all of that aggression and snappiness and sort of unsure scrappiness that you wanted to unleash is now giving rise to something rather beautiful. She's got her bird that she's decided on, the darker of the two birds that we're talking in the Two of Swords, and the flower, and everything feels like she's on a path as well, and she knows where she's going. And this here shows you cooperating with all that are present. So with the Three of Swords, we can see they're building a wall. This new flower is also, again, you know, the flower that's here is now something that everybody's working on. All people that are part of the thing are doing their piece. And I guess this is you talking to one of them. One has a hammer, the other has something red, like a sort of cigar, but he's looking away. But she's able to communicate with him now. And there is something beautiful being built. How lovely. Let's cap it. Let's do an Enchanted Forest card for you. Very quickly. I want to move this forward a bit quickly. Yeah, you were in the 10 of Challenges, which is the that's how you were before. Okay, I'm not going to go to the book because it's just trying to remind me how initially this was not built on the right foundations. There was a folly. There was something that was going to get damaged. It wasn't right. This is the Tower. And this is the Minor to the Death card, where you're just giving up and you just don't want to carry on anymore. You don't want to have the fight. That's how you were feeling. I think it's saying... I like it. Sometimes the cards want me to emphasize how bad it has been, as if I might be skipping over it and saying, come on, it was pretty bad for them. And then with the Five of Stones and the Speaker of Trees, let's look at the proceeds for these two. So the Five of Stones. Five of Rivers. But let's get to the stones. Five of Stones. Finding your own values, making discoveries, recognizing your own power, changing a situation or the way we live because of our inner conviction, internal healing and spiritual realizations. Well, that's a bit like the Judgment card that we've got on the basis of the reading. Taking your power of the Empress, understanding, having a spiritual realization, finding your own values and discoveries. And it talks about you can dream some answers into being here. But I think this is just saying that there has been an epiphany that's allowed you to move forward. And the Speaker of Trees is confidence, brilliant. brilliance, communication of new ideas and plans, great energy, enlightenment, sexually a strong relationship. So I think suddenly now we're off again. Kundalini energy is recognized as sexual as well as spiritual, because fire is the element of passion. The Speaker of Trees speaks of desire and sexual expression. The card can indicate someone who expresses sexuality openly with great joy. Well, it's sort of also the energy of the Empress who creates, who's fertile, isn't it? So you're back into that. And and now your creative energy is rising up your spine. So I think we're through and we've made an enlightenment. That's so lovely. Let's have quickly some oracle cards to see if there's anything else that wants to come out. 2 here. Offerings and Medicine Man and Medicine Woman. I think you're feeling now wiser and ready to offer something new to this project because you've learnt your lessons of it. And let's see what we've got here. Trust. You can now trust that you're on the right path. That's a bit like the alligator's sort of path, isn't it? From that previous, from the tail, that creates a path. You can trust that this path is the correct one now. You've got your new beginning. It's got that serpentine feeling to it. And we'll just quickly have one of these. Here we go. Yeah, joy, hummingbird spirit. There's all the flowers that are being produced now are going to bear beautiful fruit and make other people very joyful. So this flower that we're growing at the end of the crocodile's tail, and the big flower that's also a wall, it's all going to be bringing great joy to your community, whatever it is you're working on. I'm going to just quickly pull, wasn't going to, but I will pull an Oracle of the Divine Muses. So this is so funny because Pisces got this as well, Resonance. And so I don't need to read the book, so that's great because it can be quite dense and I want this to continue quickly. It's basically saying you're back in resonance. There was a sort of disresonance with your community. Now you're harmonizing your sound, your tone, your resonance is working well with all those around you, and you can make a new partnership, and it will be creating this beautiful third way, this beautiful ability to harmonize around you, which is just what we need to see, a bit like the 3 of Cups in your heart now with the 3 of Pentacles. It's wonderful. And a card from, yeah, we know, this is from the Tiny Tarot. This happened exactly in Pisces as well. It said, yeah, they were really unhappy, but now, and they felt out in the cold, but now they're off again with the Chariot. They're on their epic quest. It might be fast and furious, but you will be successful, and you know where you're going now. You might have to split your laser beam somewhat, but you are off, and your project is flying. So that's wonderful. See you again.